Hello, welcome to Flutterbug Auto. Today we're talking about the original arcade Ridge Racer. This game is a masterclass in simplicity. It doesn't have a lot of fancy bells and whistles, it doesn't have a lot of features or modes, it just has some great driving, and I really appreciate it a lot for that, honestly. This is a super early 3D game from 1993. In fact, so early that I found that one of the major things the game was being advertised as having was texture mapping. Like, this game was so early on that just merely having textures was a big deal. And I mean, like, it was a big deal. Like, the major 3D racing game from the year prior, Virtua Racing, didn't have textures at all. But yeah, like, as I said, this game is no nonsense and no frills. The game was clearly designed to simply be an arcade game that you just sit down at and do some driving in, and it shows. It's very good at being that one thing. There's only one track, there's only one car, there's no career or Grand Prix mode, it's just a single race at a time. In a single car. You're here to win and get the best time, and that's it. And also, I really think they nailed it in one go in terms of the handling. This game already has the series' signature drifting, and honestly, it's less fiddly here than it is even in later entries. I was immediately nailing drifts in this game in a way I struggled to get into initially with Ridge Racer 64 and 3D. It feels absolutely amazing zooming around corners in this game. And speaking of the corners, since there's only the one track, or two if you count the extended version and the higher difficulty modes, this is a game about learning those specific turns and becoming intimately familiar with them as you go for the high score. And with the recent re-release, there's online leaderboards to go for, which is really cool. I've got a real soft spot for these early bare bones, no-nonsense racing games, like Virtua Racing, as I mentioned earlier. They get racing down to its pure essence, and it's really fun to just sit down and learn them. It's not a game I am going to end up playing for long periods of time, but like other arcade games I like, it's the perfect game to break out when you just want to play something for a little while, with no commitments or anything. It's the perfect bite-sized racing game. In terms of the game's presentation, it's Ridge Racer alright. It's got such bright and appealing visuals. They put those new textures to great use, and everything is so nice to look at. Everything's full of so much color and detail. You can tell they were really going for spectacle, with all of the planes and helicopters that'll fly by during the race. It's even got like time of day lighting changes, stuff like that. Despite its age, this game still totally looks great. It's such a pleasure to look at. They did an absolutely wonderful job with the aesthetics and color choices and everything. The sound design is really good too. I particularly liked how, when you get close to a wall, you can hear the sound of your engine echoing back at you. That's such a nice detail. I don't even see modern games often doing that kind of thing. I also like the random racing crew dude who runs across the track at the start of the race. I don't know what he's up to, but he's definitely on a mission. I like to imagine he's the announcer you hear throughout the game. He's a lot of fun, again, as you'd expect for Ridge Racer. In this game, his favorite catchphrase is, "Hey, somebody's right on your tail!"
Hey, somebody's right on your tail!
Like, anytime anyone is behind you, he's yelling that shit. It's incredible. The cars are also colorful and chunky, once again, as you'd expect for classic Ridge Racer, and they're chock full of little classic arcade Namco references, also as you'd expect. My only issue is, as mentioned, you only get one car to play as. You don't get to play as any of these other cute little cars. Not that it matters immensely though, since the game only comes with one camera angle, which is the first person view, so you can't see your own car anyway while playing. This is one of my very few issues with the game, since this camera is like my least favorite option in a racing game. It feels like you're like directly on the ground. Like you're a little tiny little bug crawling rapidly across the track. I much prefer chase cam where you can see the whole car, or if it's first person, I prefer to have it in the cabin so you can see the front of the car, since in both cases it makes judging where the car is in space much easier. Of course, in the game's original context, you'd play it in a sit-down arcade cabinet, and the cabinet itself would act as the cabin, though you still can't see the hood of the car. And also it makes the one car that you play as make a little bit more sense because the cabinet was styled after the red car that you play as. So I imagine it would feel more natural playing it on the original cabinet, but divorced from that context as I'm playing it, it's a little bit annoying. And to bring up Virtua Racing yet again, one of that game's big features it advertised was having multiple camera angles, which is a thing they did because, you know, it was one of the first 3D games, so it was one of the first games where something like that was even possible. But in the end, that's really the only negative thing I have to say about the game. The driving is so solid, the drifting feels amazing, and it's a ton of fun replaying it over and over to master it. It does a great job feeling like a really exciting racing experience despite being such a simple game. It feels like a bridge between the super simple concept arcade games of the 80s and the more complex games that are soon to follow. So yeah, that's the original arcade Ridge Racer. I had a great time checking it out, and soon I'm planning a look at all of the PlayStation Ridge Racer games. If you'd like to get a peek at that before the video goes up, go check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Flutterbug. I'll be playing them there, as well as some of the other racing games I'm planning to cover soon. I play a lot of other games over there as well, but I'm assuming that if you're here, you're interested in my racing game coverage. So go head on over there if you'd like to watch me play Ridge Racer and other racing games. But anyway, I hope you'll be looking forward to all my racing content coming up, and I'll see you soon.